There have been ups and downs for every team in the championship so far this season, but now it's crunch time with only 4 games left of this season. And realistically, 15 out of the 24 championship team seasons still hang in the balance whether that is avoiding the drop or closing in on the playoffs and eventually the Premier League. So welcome back to the Blue Dragon YouTube channel, your home of all things English football. And today I am giving my final championship predictions on who I think will be leaving the championship at either ends of the table. I'm going to divide this video up into the bottom 6 of the championship and the top 9 starting with the bottom end of the table. Before we begin, please don't take this video too seriously, and remember it's just a bit of fun when commenting, and like the video and subscribe if you do end up enjoying. Relegation. Right, first of all we are going to take a look at the bottom 6 teams, and where I think they will finish, who will be relegated, and who will scrape it. The bottom 6 teams, with 4 games to go, who I think realistically could be relegated, which are Portsmouth, Hull, Derby, Cardiff, Luton and Plymouth. In my opinion, I think the likes of Stoke and Oxford have enough to survive, being on 47 and 48 points respectively. Someone has to go bottom of the table this season, and for me, Plymouth Argyle are that team as they have been at the bottom for a while now, and are currently 3 points adrift from safety. Unfortunately, I can't see them lifting themselves off the bottom of the table from now until the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, I think they will be able to put up a fight as they have done all season, and they showed that at home against third-placed Sheffield United. However, I do not think they have enough in the squad to make up the 3-point gap going into the final 4 fixtures, especially with 2 of the teams they play chasing the playoffs in Middlesbrough and Coventry, and the current best team in the league, Leeds United, on the final day of the season. And even their seemingly easiest game of the final 4 is against Preston, who are mid-table and not chasing anything. But even that is away from home, and in my opinion, Preston have a far better squad than Plymouth, so it would be difficult to see them picking up anything in that game. Sorry Plymouth fans, but someone has to be last, and I just can't see Plymouth finishing anywhere other than last place. Now the team who I think will stay up most comfortably of the bottom 6 teams is another side who I can't see changing positions, and that is Portsmouth. Pompey currently sit on 46 points and are 4 points clear of the drop. This season, I think around 50 points is enough to survive, and I think Pompey have enough quality and attacking power with players like Jacob Murphy and Colby Bishop to have enough to survive. Portsmouth have quite a mild run-in with 3 out of their remaining 4 teams that they have left, having nothing to play for in Norwich, Watford and Sheffield Wednesday. And if they can't pick up enough points to be clear of the drop by the final game of the season, they do have Hull at home on the final day, so I would probably back them in that game as well. However, I don't think it will get to that stage, and I think Portsmouth could be out of sight come the final game of the season. Now, going into the teams who I think could narrowly survive, I have made a few big calls, and this is definitely one of them. In 20th position, I have got Derby County. Derby currently sit only 1 point clear of the drop and 1 place clear. However, over the last couple of weeks, John Eustace seems to have been able to get more out of his players, and I think his tactics and management style will be the thing that keeps Derby in the championship. Also, over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a revelation take place up top, with Harness banning goals in left, right and centre as a perfect partner to Jerry Yates. Also, I think that Derby's fixtures are easier than the teams that surround them, with 3 of their final 4 games being played against fellow relegation strugglers. And we have seen over the last couple of weeks that Derby do have enough to compete with teams well above them in the table such as Burnley and Preston. In fact, the only game where I do worry about Derby in the run-in is when they play West Brom away on Easter Monday, who are chasing down those playoff places. But other than that, I do see Derby finishing clear of the drop by 2 positions with over 50 points on the board, thanks to the appointment of John Eustace at Pride Park. Now these predictions so far haven't exactly been groundbreaking. I can assure you my last 2 predictions will probably surprise a lot of people. However, Luton Town are another team who I think will stay where they are, which is second. Bottom. The Hatters currently sit just 3 points from safety, having been in the Premier League only 12 months ago. My main reasoning behind this is I do not believe that this squad of players believe that they can survive, and the overall atmosphere surrounding the club is quite toxic. And we saw that on Saturday when they lost to a Blackburn Rovers side who are in very poor form at Kenilworth Road. As for Luton Town's fixtures, they have also got quite a tough run in, with the Hatters playing away to Derby on Good Friday, which is a must-win game if they want to survive this season. As well as this, Luton play a massive role in who could get into the playoff places this season, with the Hatters facing 5th-placed Bristol City, 6th-placed Coventry and 7th-placed West Brom, all in their final 3 games of the season. So overall, I am sorry, Luton fans, but I can't see you getting out of this, especially with the teams around you having easier fixtures and much more belief amongst the squad, and indeed fan base, that they can actually stay up. So for now, I have got Luton to go down second from bottom. Now the smart ones among you would have realised that there are 2 teams left in the fight. The final relegation spot and the final survival spot are still on the line. Now this might shock a lot of people, but let me explain why before you throw your electronic device across the room. In 21st position and narrowly escaping the drop, I have got Cardiff, which means unfortunately Hull City would be relegated, who currently sit 3 points clear of the Bluebirds. I think this race could go down to the final day. When you look at Hull City's form over the last couple of weeks, they are currently 17th in the form table with several difficult games to come. Hull face an away trip to high-flying Swansea, who will be wanting to make a good impression for Luka Modric in South Wales. And if they are going to win a game, this would be it, given Hull's good away form this season. The Tigers must face Preston North End at home, and given Hull's home record, which is the worst in the Championship, only winning 4 games all season, and Preston's poor away record, I could very easily see a draw in that game. They then face Derby County, who are desperate for the 3 points, and given that they have been on such a good run of form recently, I could easily see Derby taking that one. Given if Derby score first, I think things could turn toxic around. The club going into another difficult game away to Portsmouth, who will want to end their season on a positive note in front of their own fans. As for Cardiff, potentially 3 or at least 2 of their final 4 games could be against teams who haven't got anything to play for in Oxford. Norwich and potentially West Brom if results don't go their way in recent weeks, but we will get into the playoff race in a minute. Don't get me wrong, I can't see Cardiff getting anything away at Sheffield United, especially with them desperate for 3 points in the automatic promotion race. For me personally, the game that will define both Hull and Cardiff's future is when Cardiff play host to Oxford on Easter Monday, and if Cardiff are able to do so and win that game, survival would be in their hands going into the final game of the season away to a mid-table Norwich side who haven't got anything to play for, and at home to West Brom, who could be out of the playoff race very easily by that late stage in the season. So that is why I back Cardiff to stay in the Championship at the expense of Hull City. But of course, I could end up being very wrong with this one. I feel Cardiff have underperformed with the squad that they've got, and these big players, like Callum Robinson and Alex Robertson, need to step up if they are to guarantee survival in the coming weeks. Promotion. Now, after looking at the slums of the Championship table, I am now going to have a look at who could gain promotion to the richest league in the world and who could be stuck in the Championship for another seasons. I have picked the top 9 teams currently. I can't see anyone beyond that making their way into the playoffs. So let's see which 3 of these 9 clubs will land in the lucky 33%. Now, to start things off in the promotion race, I can't see many disagreeing with this prediction of Sunderland finishing 4th and comfortably inside the playoff zone. I have to say, this was never a prediction that I would have made at the start of the Championship season, with me predicting them to finish 14th in my original predictions. Sunderland's final 4 games of the season seem to be relatively straightforward, with the Black Cats playing Oxford, Queen's Park Rangers and Blackburn Rovers. As well as this, they play Bristol City, who are only 1 place below them in the table in 5th position, But Sunderland currently sit 12 points clear of the Robins and 16 points clear of 7th-placed West Brom, making it impossible for them to fall out of the playoffs. However, the one thing that Sunderland should look out for is going into the playoffs in good form, but overall I can't see Sunderland shifting positions at all from now until the end of the season. Another team who I cannot see shifting positions, and the first side I see getting promoted to the Premier League, is Burnley, who currently sit on 88 points and 5 points clear of dropping out of the automatic positions. Given Burnley's good form, since they haven't lost in the league since the beginning of November, this is due to Burnley's very strong defence, having only conceded 13 goals throughout the whole season. So, with all this in mind, I have no doubt that Burnley will be able to ease their way to promotion, if not the Championship title. With them playing mid-table Watford, fellow automatic chasers Sheffield United at home, QPR away, and then a playoff chasing Millwall at home. If they are able not to lose to Sheffield United at home, we could see them easing their way to Premier League football next season, which I would back them to do since they have not lost at home all season, which is a remarkable record. In at 9th on this list is going to be Middlesbrough Football Club. Unfortunately for Middlesbrough, I do not think they will be able to pick up form going into these final games of the season, especially after losing the last two games in a row, including to playoff rivals Millwall. Their final 4 fixtures are relatively good ones, playing mid-table clubs with nothing to play for in Wednesday and Norwich, and bottom club Plymouth, who are fighting for their lives. They then play playoff rivals Coventry on the final day. Unfortunately for Boro, I can't see them making up that 3-point gap going into the end of the season with the strength of the teams around them, and I think ultimately the blame for this should be on the shoulders of manager Michael Carrick for massively underachieving with this squad. Now, my second team making it into the playoffs this season is another team who I think will stay put in the playoffs, which is in my opinion the biggest positive surprise of the season in Bristol City. Bristol currently sit 4 points clear of dropping out of the playoff positions. Their fixtures are a mixed bag, with them playing host to Sunderland on Good Friday, who technically have nothing to play for, but will want to go into the playoffs in good form, and finish above Bristol City, who sit just 1 place below them. However, the Robins must go away to Leeds United, who are chasing down automatic promotion, and play Luton Town on Good Monday, who will see that as a must-win game. And then, on the final day of the season, they play host to mid-table Preston North End. So overall, I think that Bristol City will finish comfortably into the playoff places without much drama due to the managerial brilliance of Liam Manning. Next up, I'm sure many Millwall fans will be disappointed with this prediction, but I do have the Lions to finish in a reasonable 8th place. Millwall have had a great season so far and are only 3 points behind the playoffs, with them currently sitting 9th in the division. However, in my opinion, the Lions won't have enough firepower to make up that 3-point gap going into the final 4 games left of the season, especially considering the final 4 fixtures compared with their playoff rivals. Don't get me wrong, they are not bad fixtures, but compared with the clubs around them, I can't see them making up that 3-point gap against Blackburn, who recently defeated Luton, who are fighting for survival, Norwich, high-flying Swansea, and automatic chasing Burnley, who we have already discussed. Overall, I think that Millwall have punched above their weight through this season, but when it comes down to it, as much as I would like them to, I think they will struggle with that final push to the promised land. Now again, the smart ones among you would have realized that there is 1 place left in the playoffs and 1 spot outside, and I do have West Brom in that final place, meaning that they would switch positions with Coventry City, who would drop out of the playoff places. As for West Brom, I do think that their overall squad is good enough to go and defeat Coventry away from home. If they do that, the playoff race is then in their own hands, and their final 3 games of the season are against teams who are fighting to stay up in Cardiff, Derby, and Luton Town. And I do think that the Baggies have more than enough power. Even if they do end up not beating Coventry, I would back them to get 9 points out of 9 from their final 3 games. As for Coventry, despite them sitting 3 points clear of the drop, I do not think that the Sky Blues will be able to hang on to that final playoff place. This is mainly due to the psychological difference in the two clubs and the fact that the Baggies might be more comfortable going into the run-in, and I think Coventry could suffer having to cling on, as it probably suits West Brom more to be the club chasing down. And despite playing the toe-bottom clubs, Plymouth and Luton, both of these games are away from home, and Coventry haven't been the most lethal away from home with them recently, drawing with relegation threatened Hull City and a mid-table. In terms of away form, I think that West Brom will defeat Coventry at the CBS Arena, which unfortunately could lead to the downfall of the Sky Blues. But that's just my opinion, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if I was proved wrong. So now the question on everyone's lips, who I think will finish first and earn automatic promotion to the Premier League, and who will have to settle for third place and the playoffs, Sheffield United or Leeds? Well, I am sorry, but I am going to have to be boring when it comes to this, as I do feel Leeds will win the championship title this season. But as for Sheffield United, they currently sit 5 points out from the automatic promotion places in third place, where I think they will remain for the rest of the season. I think this is mainly due to the blip that has happened only recently with the Blades losing to Millwall. Plymouth and Oxford and I think this blip is going to prove fatal for the Blades, despite their fairly positive run-in against Cardiff. Second-placed Burnley, Stoke, and Blackburn, I don't think the Blades will at all have enough to make up the 5-point gap. I think this shows just the brutality of the championship season for the Blades to finish potentially on over 90 points and not to get automatically promoted, and they will have to face the wrath of the playoffs. As for Leeds, I think their promotion would be more relief than anything else not to be stuck in the second division for the third season in a row. Their final 4 games are against Bristol, Stoke, Plymouth and Oxford, which are all relatively winnable games, but to be honest with you, I can't see Leeds dropping many, if any, points in their remaining 5 games of the season, as they have been so consistent throughout the campaign. They currently sit 5 points clear of the layoff and are top of the league thanks to goal difference. I can't see them falling apart again in this campaign. So overall, in my opinion, Leeds will be out of sight by the last game of the season, especially if Sheffield United's bad form continues. Right then, thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you did end up enjoying it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. Please, remember that this is all just my opinion and not fact, and at the end of the day, it's all just a bit of fun. But feel free to tell me where and why you think your team will finish coming the end of the championship campaign, and I wish your team the best in their final 4 games of the season. Feel free to check out some similar videos to this on the channel that should be on the screen right about now if I have remembered. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.